Did you?
Yeah. Joe Biden came through and paid mine for me.
Oh, you got a check?
That's my sugar daddy.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Look, man, me and Joe Biden don't get along, man. You know.
You seen that
I,
Bama fall down at that
man, I
graduation?
saw that, man. Man, let me tell you something, man. Joe is the best, man. Joe always gonna give you Joe
He
gonna give you a
is.
highlight,
That's like
man.
the third time he done
Yeah,
went.
man. I mean,
Yeah.
man, Joe better stop looking at them young girls. See, that's what that is.
That's when he need to stop
Yeah,
doing.
man.
Yeah.
He was looking at the corner of his eye, wasn't paying attention to that step.
Right.
Man, that
Done
Joe
fell
Biden,
down.
man, he hit the ground, man. That was funny. I said, Joe,
That was
man,
funny as hell.
man,
And
Joe did it.
he just looked like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like it wasn't even nothing going on, man.
He
You know,
used to it. He be falling at the
hey,
house.
man. Look, that man. You know, that's a sound bite, man. We got to put that in, man. We got to get some video clips, man. We got to add some of
We
those,
need
dude.
to.
Yeah,
We
man,
need to.
had
We
some of
need to.
those in the house, man. So you took care of the cable too. The cable guy came by.
I don't have cable. I got Sling.
Man, she got that bootleg. She got that. Oh my gracious.
I
She
knew you was
said,
gonna say something. I knew
woo-hoo-hoo.
you was gonna say something.
She said she got the
It's Sling.
sling.
It's $40 a month.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
She's on
As
that
long as
tight.
I can watch CNN, I got CNN, I
Look,
got
man, she
HGTV
ain't worried about nothing but
and Food
CNN,
Network. That's it.
HGT, HNN, RUCY, WXY, and Z. Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'll Punky Brewster for you, man. I'm telling you.
You gonna stop coming at me tonight for
Hey,
real.
man, you know, just like I say, man, you know, we got a strange relationship, man. People just don't, they just may not understand. That's all
They
that's
and
about,
that's
man.
their
You know,
problem.
for anybody out there, man, I'm gonna say it before she said, man, I don't want you loving me, man. So don't be talking about you love
Oh,
me, man.
so here we go with that mess. Here
Yeah,
we
that's what
go.
we do, man. Hey, man, look, man, you got a nice little skin tone on it. Like, man, you using that all over lake? That's what this happening.
I got me a little tan. You know what I'm saying? Got me a little tan.
Okay, okay. So
Cause
you been
my
on,
hair is darker than my face, but I got me a little tan.
you got your little time. All right,
Yeah.
man. Look, man, but you know
Down
that's
here
what
in
it is.
Georgia where it's hot. It's getting hot.
Hey, man, look here, man. Let me tell you something. You can stay down that shit for real,
I ain't coming back
man.
home. I
Hey,
love PG County.
man,
I ain't
look,
coming back home.
I ain't coming back home neither, man. But you know, hey, man, down that GA heat is different,
It's hot. Then I'm
boy. It is hoot.
hot.
I call it hoot.
Hey, listen.
It is
Sometimes it be
hooty
so
hoot.
hooty Auntie gotta leave her titties at home. That's how
Hooty
hot it be.
hoo. Y'all heard that? Auntie is she is Punky Brewster in it right now.
Yes.
I hope y'all caught that. She said it is so hot. She got to leave her titties
At the house.
at the crib.
At the crib.
Hey, I ain't messing with you tonight, man. We gonna get right to it, man.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing
Let's get to
flowing
it.
and going. Here we go. Damn, man, it is Tuesday, Woosday. Hey, man, what's happening with you? This is your boy, Isaac, aka the Iceman, and my girl, my favorite girl on Tuesdays, Punky Brewster. What's going on with your P Dub?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Yeah, man, we back for another episode of
Yes,
Under
indeed.
No Conditions podcast, man. Once again, for you guys, you just tuning in, man. I'm Iceman, man. We got Punky over there. Hey, man, hey, it's summertime, man. She went from Tiana to Punky. Now she
I did.
TT. Yeah, man. She go boy. I'm telling you,
I'm
man. Y'all better
acting
keep.
bad all summer.
Man, she
All
is cutting
summer.
up this summer, man. She is cutting up, man. I'm telling you, man. She paid her cable this week, and we is gonna get it
Petty.
on.
You petty. You petty.
Last week she was in and out, man. But you know what? I had to call down there where she at, man. I had to talk to those folks. Guess what? I'm gonna let y'all know, man. She owed $1.50.
You a Bama. You a
I
Bama. See
had to
how he
I
do me,
had
y'all?
I
See
had
how
to
he do me?
cash I had to cash app the cable
$2.
company.
$2.
A $2 just so she can get. Hey, and she ain't even got cable, man. She got what you call it?
It's called Sling.
Sling. Yeah, man. She a CNN girl. Hey, how about that, man?
I
Yeah,
love
man.
seeing it. I love seeing
Yeah,
it.
man. We gonna cut up the night. Hey, Pokey, how was your week, baby girl?
It's going pretty good. I ain't got no complaints, man. My skin ain't broke out. I got all my teeth. You know what I'm saying? And they still sell Slurpees at 7-Eleven. That's all that matters.
Hey,
That's all that
man, let me
matters.
tell you something. If they stop selling them Slurpees, man, we
Oh
gonna
yeah.
have a problem.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
For sure.
indeed, man. I'm
For
telling you,
sure.
man. It's
Yeah.
summertime, man.
Yeah.
She said, did you say you have all your teeth?
Okay, I got the front ones.
Lord hammer. Hey, man, this is
I
gonna
got the
be one
ones
of
in the
them
front.
nights, man. She talk about she still got all her front teeth,
I
so we
use
know what's going. So we know what's going on in the back.
You know
All
what?
right.
Goodbye. You a Bama. I ain't got
Yes.
time for this.
Yeah,
I ain't
man.
got
This
time.
what.
I ain't got
Hey,
time.
man, y'all should catch us before the show, man. She be cutting on me
Yeah.
so bad,
Yeah.
man. I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
So
boy.
bad.
Yeah,
So
man.
bad.
But this, man, we got a
And
special
here go
relationship,
our
man.
girl too. Here
Felicia,
she
she is
goes. She
hanging on the
here.
wall, standing very tall, man. You know
Yes,
that's a
she is.
DC thing. Yeah, Felicia, she hanging out with us tonight, man. She gonna join us in the crowd, man. Yes, indeed, man. For you guys that just tuning in, man, I'm Isaac, aka the Iceman.
And I'm
Which,
TT Miss Punky Booster.
hey, just said, man. Hey, what we doing right now? What we doing?
Hey. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So you know I'm always on Instagram browsing. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know about you. I'm really tired of talking about relationships. Like it's so many gurus on social media, Instagram, IG, TikTok, Facebook. Like it's like overwhelming. Do you feel like that sometimes? I'm like, everybody got an opinion because you'll look at one video, you're like, I agree with that. I agree with this, man. At this point, I'm 40 years old. I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? If I don't want to make my
Mm-hmm.
man breakfast in the morning, then I'm fine with that. He gotta be fine with that too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Okay.
yeah, but okay, so I wanted to talk about something really uh peculiar tonight. Okay, and so I saw this video on Instagram. And y'all can check me out on Instagram, Church Lady Reviews. But anyway, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Um, but the video was talking about trauma, childhood trauma. Do you have anybody in your life like that's always asking you how you doing? You sure you okay? You know, let's say y'all go get some ice cream. You sure you want strawberry? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you sure, just kind of like always checking in. And it's like, you know, they mean well, right? But it can get a little bit annoying. Do you have somebody like that?
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna respond like this. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'm
Oh,
gonna
I know
tell
what
you
you're
the
doing.
truth, and I'm gonna see if you got 10 or 15 minutes. See, because what I come to realize is people, some people, I'm not gonna say everybody or the
Mhm.
majority, but you got a percentage of people out there, they really don't want to know how you doing.
Yeah, we definitely
It's
are
a great
surface.
gesture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a great
gesture.
gesture.
It
How you doing?
is.
Oh yeah, I'm good. No, you're not.
Right, right.
No, you're not.
But listen, the caveat to this was so that person, so that's me and my family and my life with my friends. I'm always checking in, you know, hey, how you doing? What's up? What's going on? I ask people like, we go somewhere, you sure you want strawberry? I know you like a butter pecan, ain't have it. You getting strawberry, all that stuff. And so there was a video that talked about being patient with people who do that. You know, don't find it, don't always look at it as overwhelming or they just annoying, they just nagging, but it comes from childhood trauma. And when I listened to it the first time, I was like, nah, I don't know about all that. But then I thought about it, and it goes back to parenting. You know, the way that you're parented. If you have a parent that you know can go from 0 to 100 real quick, you know what I'm saying? It kind of puts the child on edge a lot of times. Or if the child lives in a hostile environment, an abusive environment, or something like that, it puts people on edge. And so, as adults, that's what they do because they're trying to fill you out before you go off on them. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought that was really interesting, especially for somebody like me, because I grew up in a wonderful household. My mother did her best, but my mother had a lot of stress. And so maybe the smallest thing might set her off just a teeny bit. You know what I'm saying? And so I
Okay.
do that now. I'm always checking in. I'm always on edge for the people in my life, trying to see if they're okay, if they're gonna go off on me, if they mad at me, things like that. So anyway, long story short, I thought that was kind of interesting how our going back to our childhood, having those difficult conversations that we always talk about with our partner. But do we have those difficult conversations with our parents? Are we willing to do that? You know what I mean? Or is it or do we feel like those my parents, they, it just is what it is. But we have to have those difficult conversations with parents. So I kind of wanted to, open that up tonight and get your experience, as a child, and your experience as a father, as a parent, and just kind of bounce off of that and see what you thought about it. Because I thought it was really interesting. We always talk about, y'all, if you watch the show, y'all know that's our biggest thing. We always talk about having difficult conversations with our partners, but are we having these difficult conversations with our parents too? Because they're legitimate. You know what I mean? Your feelings are valuable and they're important. You know what I mean? So what you think about that?
That's it, man. That's our motto, man. I talk about it all the time, sitting down, having those difficult conversations. This is
Yeah.
a great topic because I most definitely can relate. I come from a I'm gonna say pretty decent, household. Both of my
Mhm.
parents worked hard. They prided, they did the best that they can. And I really, I talk about this often. I don't never remember not wanting too much. I might have wanted what some of my friends need, but I think
Right.
if to look at it and to be totally honest, man, I had all my needs met. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
can't remember a time where I was ever hungry.
Yeah.
I might not have had what everybody else had, but everything I had was always clean.
Right.
Um, my parents was like yin and a yang. My mom, she was loving and she was always that protector. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
My dad,
Hmm.
he was, he's from down south and he had that different kind of grit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what I say, do what I say, not what as I do. And
That's
he
it.
ain't gonna tell you twice. So,
Right.
you know what I'm
That's
saying?
that's
Let's
it.
so and me being the child that I was, man, I brought a lot of it on my own because I ain't listen. Man, I
Right.
just thought maybe I could just do what I wanted to do. And it was a whole lot of times I had to deal with the consequences of the wrath of my dad. And it wasn't always nice. But
Right.
in having that difficult conversation, and I'm glad you really kind of focus on that, is for you guys that don't know, man, I'm a recovering addict. I've been clean 30 years, and everybody's in my family is recovering. The only person never used in my family was my mom.
Hmm.
She was the foundation, the bricks, the mortar, the plaster. You know what I'm saying? The bricks, the crumbs. She was everything to the Merton household. And I wasn't able to have that difficult conversation with
Hmm.
my dad until I got clean.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And that conversation, to be honest with you, we had one of those conversations before I went in and recently a year ago. And
Mm.
I'm 57.
Right. What
So
was
you
that
can
like?
imagine. So, oh man, it was mean because in between there I got a chance to hear bits and pieces of my dad's story. You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of times what happens is when you talk about your mom, she was the provider, but you felt like she was the littlest thing will send her off the edge when you get an opportunity to hear her story
Yeah.
and
I
why
want to
that's the
share that too.
way that
Yeah.
it is, because it was a very difficult time. And when my dad had this conversation, and unfortunately it took the passing of my mother. This
Mm.
is gonna be a deep podcast tonight. We're gonna get to it,
Yeah.
y'all.
We're gonna get
So I mean, we ain't gonna try, we gonna do what we gotta do, man. So
right.
leave some comments, email us, let us know what y'all think, man. And and even in that process, before me having that conversation, a difficult conversation with my dad, I almost lost my dad
Mm.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Emotionally, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? His wife is on her deathbed. He got the kids, and the thing about, you and I had this conversation before. I come from a household, my dad ain't pay no bills,
Mm-hmm.
so my
Mm-hmm.
mom did
Yeah.
everything. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So now he's stuck. He got to take on the responsibility, and now he got to pay bills. He got to figure out this. He got to figure out that,
Right.
and that was hurtful
Right.
because he always relied on,
I want
you know
her.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
on the woman. I say the woman of his dreams, because
Mm-hmm.
he's as Tay. Hey, he tell you a minute. My wife was a good woman. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So when we did sit down and have that difficult conversation. It was difficult for me
Mm. Mm.
because I had to say some things
Mm-hmm.
that was embedded in the bottom in the pit of my gut. And surprisingly, man, in this conversation, man, I learned a lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
And genuinely, man, I got some authentic apologies that just went through my soul.
Wow.
You
Wow.
understand what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
like, and that was a 2 day conversation. For you
Mhm.
guys that don't know, it took 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about we started like 9 o'clock at night. We stopped at 6 in the morning, got 2 hours worth of 3 hours of rest, got up, had breakfast, and we was back at it again.
Back at it. Yeah. Yeah.
And and for me, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
because for once in my life, like, I had the dad that I always wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because as a child living in a two-parent household as a male, right? You proud, I grew up in an era where people, we was proud of our dads. We was proud of our moms.
Yeah.
We was proud to have, whether it was a boyfriend or a second husband, whatever your position, whatever the title was,
Right.
it was a beautiful thing to have two people in the house guiding our household in whatever way it need to be guided. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And what happened is, prior to me having this conversation, the childhood trauma that I did experience, right, I brought it into every relationship.
Yeah. Right.
And because I was able to bring it into a relationship, and I didn't have the acquired skills. I'm gonna use that one, right?
Okay. Okay.
I didn't have the acquired skills, and this trust thing is real big,
It is
for
very.
men, because
Yeah.
as men, if I open up to you and you use that against me,
Yeah.
you ain't never got it. You ain't
Uh,
never. You're gonna be asking me what's wrong, and every time you ask me what's wrong, you know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'm all
Exactly.
right.
All right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it with a smile and a grin. And I'm gonna say it at a level where you be trying to figure it out.
Right.
But yeah, childhood trauma is something that's real. However, I'm gonna say this, and it might hurt some feelings. When you become grown, it is your responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to deal or handle with whatever trauma that you have experienced, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As a grown man, what I had to learn is that I can't use my trauma as an excuse to be verbally and emotionally violent
Right.
or
Right.
physical violent.
Right.
That is no longer excuse. See, because the real life and the reality of it is that, man, when you get into certain situations, you get in relationships, don't nobody care about you not having no dad or what your dad did to you, because that
Nope.
ain't their problem.
It's not. And you're not gonna
It ain't
treat
that.
me
Yeah, and you
accordingly
ain't
to
gonna
that.
treat me. You ain't gonna treat me accordingly to your trauma.
Right. Right.
It just don't work out that. So a lot of times, man, when I meet people and they start talking about they past and what they been through and their relationships, man, I don't care nothing about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And they
mean, you
look at me,
care,
they
but you
I
care,
care,
but you
I
can't
care,
stay
but
there.
but
We can't
nah,
stay
I
there.
can't. Nah, we not doing, even in an association. Like, man, like, you keep displaying the same behavior, then you start talking about, man, I don't want to hear that. That ain't
Yeah.
got nothing to do with me.
Right. Right. Agreed.
You
Agreed.
grown, you grown. And
Mm-hmm.
we had this conversation on, I think, our first podcast, where what happens is we let our trauma be our comfort zone,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
allows us excuses
Right.
to display the behavior as adults,
So
and the
true.
trauma gives us a reason to make it okay.
And then let me throw this in there too. Then we trauma bond with other people around us
Whoo!
that
Say
has
that
the
again.
same issues. We trauma bond in relationships and friendships. So you can't just say it's just relationship. It's friends too. You know what I'm saying? But I like what you said. I wanted to piggyback and go back to what you said. My mom wrote a book, and admittedly, I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't read a lot of the book. I read some of it. Very
Mm-hmm.
proud of her for writing it, but it was a space that I was in at the time that we were in at the time of the book that it was published that I just wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're into a new space now, different space now. And so I was going through something the other day, and she was like, listen, when you get a chance, read chapter 2 of my book, and it'll, maybe give you some insight into what you're going through, give you some wisdom. And I
Exactly.
read it, and it gave me the wisdom, but it was my mother's heart in the chapter. And so when she used to go from 0 to 100 when I was younger, I understood. And it was her heart in the chapter. She talked about her childhood experience, how she felt as a child, how she felt with her sisters, how she felt about my grandmother. And those things I didn't know, because I saw my mom as superwoman. I never seen my mother cry, maybe once or twice. I seen my mother cry my whole life, maybe 2, 3 times. I'm gonna say that my whole entire life, and I'm 40. But she just was so strong, and like you asked her, no, I'm good, I'm fine. My mother wasn't a beggar. You know what I'm saying? She made stuff happen. I don't. From the time y'all, it was Thursday night. Wednesday night, Tuesday night, the day before my little Thanksgiving third grade party. You know how you had Thanksgiving parties? Well, I signed my mother up for a ham, and it needed to be done by the next day because I forgot to tell her. She made it happen. You know what I'm saying? Just small things like that. Just over my life, she makes it happen. But I saw a different side of her, and then I started to understand why she responded the way that she did. It wasn't
Exactly.
because she just was nasty. She just, had an attitude. She just had, blah, 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 blah. But it was some things that happened to her. And so I understood. But like you said, it's up to us as adults to do the work. Once you identify that you doing something that is not healthy to you, your relationships, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, anybody, it's your responsibility. You can't stay in that place. And that goes back to the psychology aspect of it. People are only as mature as their last trauma. So if you got traumatized by something at 18, you still kind of in that mindset because you didn't deal with it, but you're a 40-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? I know most people say, no, no, no. You matured, but in your mind, you're still stuck there. And so you have those habits that are affected by that trauma because you never dealt with it. And I hope that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
It makes a lot of sense because I was just sitting up here thinking about it when you talked about that. It's like an addict, right? When you start, whatever age you start using, or you start drinking, or whatever mood altering substances that you put yourself in a situation that you feel like you need to cope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, you stop growing.
Yeah, you do.
You're going to continue to age, and so by the time you get 40 or 45, or 40 or 35 or 37, and you start that process of getting clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're emotionally, you all over the place.
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
you don't
And
you
it
don't
affects
know you don't
everybody
know
around.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, everybody
Yeah.
around you, man, like emotionally you are all over the place, and it's like you trying to understand why, because mentally and emotionally.
All right, y'all. I think Isaac had to hop off for a second, but we still gonna keep this thing rolling. But what we were talking about is dealing with the trauma that we have as children and addressing it with our parents. We always talk about, it's so easy to talk about, dealing with trauma with regards to your relationships, things of that nature. But do you address those traumas that you had with your parents? Hey, he
Right.
back, he back.
Yeah, man, we had a power surge or something, man. I don't know what the hell happened, man.
You ain't pay your electric bill.
Man, I know I paid, man.
You ain't paid.
Hey, they might not accredit it right now, man, because I send it in a little, I send it in on time. You know how we
Oh,
do.
so you sent a check,
Oh,
a paper check.
yeah,
Okay. All right, you
yes,
got a checkbook.
yeah. I send a check this month.
Right. Oh,
I don't
okay.
know what I was
So
thinking
they
about,
probably
but
ain't gonna get it.
yeah, they gonna, yeah,
And
man.
I
I'm gonna
used
have
to
to.
work for the post office. I just retired from the post office, so they
Hey,
not gonna get
man,
it.
look, I'm glad you don't work for the post office because I'm quite sure if you would have sold my name, you would have delayed that payment. Man, you see
Rip
how
that
she
joint
treat me,
up.
man. No, but we did have a power surge here.
Okay.
I hope we ain't having no earthquake. A couple weeks ago we had an earthquake.
For real?
Yeah, man.
I can believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, but it's great that once again that getting back to this childhood trauma and allowing allowing your trauma. And we just not gonna talk about childhood trauma, right? We're gonna talk about all trauma
yeah. All of
because
it. Yeah,
for many people they don't even understand, Punky B, that the trauma is a comfortability.
it is. It is. And when
So
you
what?
when you pulling yourself up out of that, it's the worst, most not worst. It's a very difficult, uncomfortable place to be in because you so used to getting up in the morning eating
Yeah,
oranges and then hear somebody say, nah, don't eat these oranges. I'm gonna introduce watermelon. And you like, what the hell going on? You done messed up
exactly.
my whole flow of way I do things. You know what I'm saying? And it's
And
difficult.
and you know what? And what I found out even dealing with my own trauma and having to heal, right?
Hmm.
I had to learn adaptation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to learn how to do that on the fly
Hmm.
because in trauma, it's like you living in your own little world, right?
Yeah. It is.
So when things don't go your way a lot of times or don't go the way that you want them to go, it's one or two things. You either shut down or you act out.
Absolutely.
And many times most people that has that trauma, right, when they act out, they get the results that they think they want to have. When
Yeah.
in reality, it's not a result at all.
It's not.
It's just another level of the trauma,
Yeah. Straight
right?
up. Straight up.
So now you act out, you don't get the response or the result that you get. Now you mad about something else.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So it's like the trash can effect. It's like, man, you keep throwing trash in the trash can and you never take it out. Guess what it's gonna do? It's
It's
gonna
gonna stink.
overflow.
It's gonna overflow and stink. Absolutely.
It's
Now
gonna
let
overflow. It's
me
gonna
throw this
sink.
one in there too, y'all. We talk about childhood trauma. We talked about trauma with our parents, relationship, uh, even work trauma. We can get to that at some point. But what about financial trauma? That's something that a lot of people don't discuss, and that might not be everybody's situation. Hey y'all need to call your boy Isaac talking about it's a power surge. Your boy didn't pay his power bill. That's what it is. Okay. Nah, but y'all, like I was saying, we talk about different types of trauma, but one type of trauma that we don't address is financial trauma. And people are like, well, what is that? What is financial trauma? It's a situation where you have been mishandling, mismanaging money. You know what I mean? In any capacity, not in the capacity of, oh, I make $700,000 a year. No, even if you make $20 or $20,000 a year, it's still something that happens. And a lot of times, and I'm speaking from me, I'm sharing my story. I've always I've throughout my life I've made a good money. Even when before I retired from the post office, I made good money yearly. Any job. I was at the post office most of my life, most of my adult working life. So I made good money and I came into a lot of good money too from different settlements and things of that nature. But every time I got money, I just would blow through it. I would just completely blow through it. I would get my check and in my mind, here, let me spend this on that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm $2,000 down. I'm like, what did I buy? Don't I have nothing to show for? Yeah, maybe I went out to eat. Maybe I bought a purse, something like that. Um, but I have nothing to show for the increase that came into my house, you know what I mean, that I was blessed with. And I just thought that's just who I am. I just like nice things. It is what it is. But up until recently, I realized that I was masking a lot of my hurt, disappointment, rejection, um, all types of emotions by purchasing things, by buying things, by going out to eat. Hey, you back, you back.
Man, I had to give you a spotlight, man, because I knew you was gonna lay that one down, man,
Oh,
for real.
I did. You
You know,
missed it.
financial instability. I
Yeah,
think everybody can relate to that one, man, because it's like, hey, I mismanaged money for years. I
yeah,
mean, even when I was, even when I was in the streets, I tell everybody, man, like you look at me today, I know I done blew about $3 million.
right. That's what I was just telling them before
Easy.
your electric went off. But me too. I've gone through a lot of money. I done had a lot of settlements. I made good money at the post office when I
Well, let
worked
me
there.
let me get $3 then. Can I get my $1.50 back?
Oh, I was frozen. My bad. So
She punky Bruce then. Hey man, that's what. Hey, y'all should, man. Y'all gotta catch us before and after the show, man.
y'all
Y'all'll be
y'all
on the
got to. Y'all
floor,
got
man.
to.
Oh my gracious.
But like you, I was mismanaging money, and I used to always, I'm not, that's not me now. I used to always mismanage money, and I came into, God blessed me with a nice blessing recently, and I was, dealing with my financial advisor about it, and I'm like, I want this, I need to get that, I need to get that. And every time I would submit a request for money, they like, nah, we ain't doing that. And I would get pissed because I'm like, it's mine. But then I had to start realizing when I sat down and talked to them or people with wisdom about finances, you got to understand why you're doing this. You can't look up and you done went out to eat, you done tripped yourself out, you done gotta all your Gucci
Yeah,
Louis Vuitton bags, your Gucci tennis shoes, and all of that, and you still miserable. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I'm just gonna
man.
be full transparent with y'all. I had to really pray and deep dive into my issues with money. And I'm just being transparent. This ain't everybody's story. Y'all can put it on IG, whatever. It is what it is. I ain't the first and I ain't the last. But when my daughter was younger, and I was a single mom, and me and her father had broke up, there were some things that I had to do to get formula, to get milk. Now, let me,
Talk about it.
to
Talk about it.
put my family, give my family full credit. It's because I wanted to do those things because I didn't want to talk to them. So I didn't per se have to, but it was my pride. Let me say that. And so I had to do things that I didn't like to do, that made me feel less than a woman, less than a person, to make sure that my child had food. And so once
Exactly.
I got up on my feet, Isaac, and I'm just being full transparent. Once I got up on my feet, I vowed to never be in that situation again. And I told myself, I said, if it means not paying a bill, I'm gonna always have money. I'm gonna always do this. I'm always gonna put me first. I'm always gonna, make sure I got nice things. I'm not pay a bill. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want in my mind, I didn't want to go back to having to do what I did to keep food on the table. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And so that was a trauma that I realized with my relationship that I had with money. And that's something that some people don't have that issue. Some people good with money. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. But I'm talking to the people who might have an issue with money. You don't got paid Friday. And we're not talking about bills. I get it. Sometimes you get paid Friday, Wednesday, you ain't got no money because you paid your bills. But I'm talking about the people who are trying to play catch up. And that's what I was doing for years. Robbing Peter Paul, like I would get paid and still had to borrow money from my mother. And she's like, you getting paid and you make good money. Why you still need money? I couldn't explain it. But I was determined I wasn't gonna not have no money because I didn't want to go back to doing what I had to do in that period of my life. So that, I hope y'all understand that. But if you're not,
Okay, man. Yeah, man.
all right,
She
but I
talk
gotta go.
about the dollar bills, man. I think we've all had a season in our life where we were financially irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of us, we have seasons of 5, 10, 15. I had a 25-year season that
Wow.
I was financially incapable. Um, I'm talking about from credit card
Yeah.
loans, the loans to,
Yeah. When did you
you know,
realize you needed to change something? Or
um,
and did it come from somewhere or you just you just like to spend? Was it just you just
It,
like to spend, or did it come
no,
from?
no, it came from a place of insecurity.
Mm,
Not feeling like, enough was enough, or I wasn't
yeah,
happy with myself, or because I was in this process of learning how to not just be happy, but relearning, reintroducing myself, to the world, and learn how to love myself. So I'm
yeah.
thinking, like you're a purse girl. Like, man, I got shoes out the bazoo. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
was always shopping. It was like, look, man, I'm gonna pay these bills, and after these bills is get paid, whether I pay half of it or whole, I
Right.
figured out. I figured out next
Figured out.
week,
Right.
next
Yeah.
month. I
Yeah.
got I got 3 months before they even send me the little pink slip. You know how they
Exactly.
slide it to
The
you.
car knows, right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was an issue. But for me, no, it's a crazy story. One day I was in the middle of a just a personal crisis with my job and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I enjoy and I love what I do, man, it was just like I was just, I was just asking God. I said, God, yo, is there anything else that like you got for me to do? I know this
Right.
what I'm doing right here is just not it, right?
It's not it. Yeah.
And I remember driving home, and I came home and I opened up my closet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had stuff in there, man, for years. Like, I didn't have no room to put nothing.
Right. Right.
And at that point, I was like, man, my life. I looked in my closet. I said, yo, I said, my life, I still have some chaos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
So for 5 days, man, I cleaned out my closet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And um it was more of an emotional doing for me.
Okay. Okay.
And after I did it, I felt so much better because I felt like I removed some clutter out of my life. And the
Right. Right.
clothes was just a paradox of where I was emotionally. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Understand.
And that was the turning point of this was about 7 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the turning point of me being financially to a point where um I don't have to wait to get paid to pay
Right.
my bills.
To pay your bills. Right. Right. Right.
Like, like yourself, man, I've always made great money.
Mm-hmm.
Um I've always worked around individuals that made great money, but I saw so much of that financial instability.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy we talking about this because on my job they used to call me they called me the body man, right? I'm gonna tell you
Mm-hmm.
why they called
Yeah.
that
Please
was
tell
that was
me.
that was my loan shark name. They called me the body man. And
Not
it
loan
was
shark name.
yeah, that's what they called me. They said, man, go see the body man. Cause you know what's crazy? When you're around people that's making two, 300,000, $180,000 a year and they can't put gas in their car,
Yeah.
it gives you
Yeah.
a whole different perspective on like it don't even matter how much you make. It's not what you make, it's the ability of having the knowledge and knowing what to do with what you got.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I was seeing that, and it was like, man, look, just like I say, man, once I cleared the clutter and I started making a shift in my life, and I realized like I got everything that I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't about a want, and it
Yeah.
took me about a year after that, and I had worked because I'm a semi workaholic,
Mm-hmm.
and I had put myself in a position, like I said earlier, right, where I didn't have to wait till I got paid to pay my bills. Like
Right.
if I wanted to go to the store and buy something, I didn't have to worry about it not being there.
Right. Got you. Got you.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And for like 2 years in that process, man, it felt funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's always like, let me check and see. And I know it's there, but it was like, yeah, let me check. Let me check.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you get to a point, man. I just started laughing to myself. I said, Isaac, man, you come a long way. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, I'm at a point to where in my life where like I'm just at ease. You know, I'm happy with me. I love
That-
me,
That's good.
and I continue to love what I do. But
Yeah.
all like financial trauma is a real thing for many people.
Yeah.
I have some friends that are millionaires and they broke every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we
Mhm.
have these conversations. Like I know a lot of people. Um, I've had the pleasure of sitting down with talking with some people, and it's like, yo, man, I make $600,000 a year, man. I'm $150,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
upside down in this goddamn house, man. Like, well,
Yeah.
man, you need to take that Porsche, man. You need to turn that thing back in, get you a Toyota Camry. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Straight up.
like
Straight up.
you
Right.
need to say you need to downsize, sell that house, man. Sell that $5 million house, man. Get you an $800,000 joint, man. Start
Right.
taking some deep breaths.
But
And
it take a
sometimes,
lot of I think
yeah,
our pride makes it
yeah, I was
difficult
gonna
for us
say
to
that
do that.
that pride,
Yeah,
that ego is mean, man.
it
That's
is.
that
It's a
thing is.
mug. Yeah,
See,
it's a
because
mug.
because you know what happens is when, especially my personal experience, like when you start making six figures, you start thinking different. And
Mm,
for years, right? I it, I had a fear because it's like now I don't want to ever not be able to say I ain't got nothing.
right, right.
I don't have that fear anymore. However,
Yeah,
it's like I understand it, but you also have when they say live below your means, man, that's a that's a real thing, and
you
it's a
have
beautiful thing because what happens is we live to impress people
right.
because
True.
we always want people to see what we got, and we want to be self-validated by other people when we're not even validating ourselves.
That's
All those things come along with that trauma, that piece that we
hmm
talked about earlier. It all has to do with you know childhood experiences, and they
hmm
are real.
They
And
are. They
it's
real.
it's just
Can't
it's
hide
just
from
what
them.
it is. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't, and you know what, and you can't run from them
Nope.
because I have a saying, right? Everybody got some bull, right? But you just got to decide on how much you're willing to tolerate because everybody got bags.
Right.
I,
My
I
great
don't.
grandmother used to say, "Everybody got a seat at the table, and there's some food on each plate." You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go.
Everybody gets some.
I like that one. I'm gonna have to use. I might put that in my next rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm writing a couple songs right now, so I might have to incorporate that in the
I,
Iceman
I,
lyrics.
I, what you know,
huh?
MC Iceman, MC Iceman.
MC
Yo, yo,
MC
yo, it's MC
yo,
Iceman
hey,
coming through.
yeah, man, hey, man, DMV raised and born, man, yeah, man. But
Y'all,
hey, Punky,
Iceman really from West Virginia, truth be told.
hey, man, let me tell you something. Don't tell nobody, man. Don't tell nobody, man. From that southeast,
So we, so we,
southeast.
exactly.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, this was a great
It
conversation, man.
good.
We need to put our feet in the rugs tonight, man. We really, man, you did your thing, man. Proud of you, girl.
And I do have one quote I want us to end off on, and y'all hold on
Hey,
to
man,
this.
you know what, man? Why don't you just send us out in a prayer, man? Won't you send us? Yeah, man. Hey, see, you know how she looking at me like that, right? See, cause I be putting her on the spot. I'm telling you, man. Punky can
You
pray, man.
petty. You know
Man,
that?
I'm telling
You
you, this
petty.
girl, man. I'm tell you something, man. Man. Let me tell you something, boy. Boy, whew, she can, man. She had chills running up your spine, man. She pray for. Oh, look, she done bounced out. Look at her, man. See, she ain't even pair of gas and
Can you
electric.
hear me?
Oh, there, I can hear you. There we go. That's all right, man. We having some technical. I can hear you. Can you hear me? She trying to get it together. She trying to get it together. I can see you. I can see you.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Somebody called me. I had my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Okay, we give you that one.
Iceman.
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, she'll be back with us in a few minutes, man. Yo, once again, man, for you guys, man, that just tuning in, What is the night? Yo, man. Yo, John, thank you for the email, man. I'm gonna respond to you later, man. Appreciate you. Um, tonight we talked about little childhood trauma, man, and the effects it has on us in our adult life. And it's a real thing. Um, and as adults, it is your responsibility. It is totally your responsibility to deal with that childhood trauma as best as you can. Here she go. Hey, you need me call? You need me call? I can write another check. You need me to? You need You need me to write GA Atlantic a check or something?
What's you hear me?
I can hear
I can
you.
hear
You
you.
look
You look
froze.
froze. All right, well, I ain't paid the internet bill.
You ain't pay
You
the
ain't paid the
internet.
internet. That's
You got an
you got an
echo
echo
going
going
on.
on. Oh man.
I'm gonna clip you
Clip you
off
off
and come
and
back
come
on.
back.
Yeah, she gonna get it together, man. But childhood trauma is real, man. A lot of things were said. We talked about childhood trauma. We talked about financial trauma. Um, being financially irresponsible and unreliable. And I'm quite sure on many of you guys out here that can
Can
relate
relate
or have
or have
had that
had that
experience.
experience.
Hey,
Hey,
Punky
Punky
B.
B. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man,
Yeah, man.
you got
You got
echo
echo
coming in the
coming in the
back
back
end.
end. Oh man.
That's all
That's
right.
all right.
We're gonna
We gon'
we're gonna
we gonna
deal with it.
deal with it. All right. Well, love y'all. I'm gonna let you close out. Love y'all.
All right,
All
love
right.
you
Love you
too. Bye
too.
bye.
Bye bye.
Look
Look
here.
here.
This your boy
This
Isaac, man, aka the Iceman. Punky Brewster having some technical difficulties over there, man. That's my girl. She get on my nerves, man. But it's what it is. But once again, man, I'm gonna send you guys off with this, man. You are responsible for who you become. Do not put the responsibility and allow anybody the responsibility to help build you where you need to be. Because at the end of the day, man, we have to be responsible for us. A lot of times we put our burdens and our responsibilities for on others so we won't have to be accountable, and it doesn't allow us to look at it in the face. So man, just learn to love yourself, be accountable for everything that goes on in your life, man, and continue to wake up and be able to look yourself in the mirror. And if ain't nobody tell you that they love you today, man, Ice Man, Punky B, Under No Conditions podcast, man. We grateful for you. Peace.